Hi everyone, Tony Tonkin here from the Child Protection Party. And before we do anything else, just want to say that we hope that you had a pleasant new year in lockdown or whatever that might be, wherever you sit around the world. But I hope that it was okay, no matter what the circumstances were. And of course, I also hope that for 2021, which is what we're going to be discussing today, that I hope that is going to be a fantastic time for you as well. So also, of course, I just want to welcome my friend, my buddy, my mate, Avery, to the team as well. So good to see you, Avery.
I'm good. How are you, buddy, mate, friend?
Yep, I'm all of those things,
Yeah.
to you in particular.
Hello, Karen.
And it's good to see that we have, we certainly have a number of people online at the moment. So I'm glad that those people can join with us, because this is our first conversation for the year. And I think, Avery, is an important conversation that we just simply have to have.
Before you actually start, I just want to very quickly tell you that cross-posting worked. We're live on the child abuse database page as well.
All right. So we're testing out a few things that are a little bit different this year, which is about making the breadth and the range, I guess, of people that we speak to on Facebook and through YouTube a little bit larger than what it has been in previous years. So we're upping the ante, really, in the technical front, aren't we, Avery? We have this wonderful production that we're now able to put together, and we're also now able to see if we can get more and more people involved in the discussions that are important to us. So I'm going to leave it to you. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I get on that. I can do everything I need to do except share these damn posts.
Yeah, well, it's not my fault you've been a naughty boy.
No. And Facebook tell me it's not my fault, but I still...
No, so we don't know whose fault it was. It was just out there in the ether somewhere, mate, and it happened to fall upon you. You're just... So you just need to take responsibility for everybody else's stuff-ups. I think that's really what it amounts to.
I think that's what it is.
But that'll be... Hopefully,
I was the one.
Yeah, but hopefully that'll be rectified pretty shortly as well. So I'm going to leave it up to you, Avery. Just talk about some of the issues that you think are important for us for this year. And I want people to focus on kind of what you can do to help us to become the political party that we need to be, so that we can represent you in the way that you need to be represented. Does that sound fair enough? And you've got some ideas about ways by which people can help us. So I'm just going to pass it over to you to have that discussion.
Okay, the number one thing I think that we need to do, there's two things that we need to do, no particular order, but we need to grow the membership. We are registered in South Australia. We're registered as a federal party. It would be fantastic to be able to run candidates in the next state election in Tasmania or in Western Australia, the other states and territories. The problem that we've got is that because we are not registered in New South Wales, Queensland, etc., if we run a candidate, we will be spending a bucket load of money to put somebody below the line because we're not registered in that state. So getting the membership, say in New South Wales, up to 750 plus people is really important, because if we can get our party registered in other states, then in state or federal elections, our party candidates would then be above the line. 95% of people who go to vote in our voting system here vote above the line. Right? So number one, I'd say, is driving that membership.
So how, what ideas do you have that will help others to drive it? And I guess the first idea that comes to mind is, if you know somebody who is interested in ensuring that the well-being of children is protected, which is what we're about, then talk to them about CPP, what we stand for, the goals and objectives that we have, and then ask them to join us, because joining us doesn't cost like a lot of money or anything, does it? It's not like it's super expensive.
No, it starts at $12 a year, $1 a month. 50 cents, 25 cents a week. You know, it's we're basically we're not quite giving it away. That's what we used to do. Membership, you know, it's, as I say, $1 a month. You know, I'm sure people can afford that. There are higher fees that people can pay if they choose, but we're not enforcing that on anybody. They can choose. Anybody that joins us can join for $12 a year, right?
And I guess Avery, it's important for us to talk about what it is that people want to receive something for their money, don't they? So sometimes it's about acknowledging that this is kind of what you're getting. So I think what people get for $12 is pretty good, actually.
Yeah, well, one thing that they would get, it's nothing directly necessarily for them. It would be really nice to be able to, when somebody joins, send them a nice little pack with a sticker for their car and a button that they could wear, or a T-shirt or something like that. It would be really nice to do that, but we don't have the money, which is the second thing that we need to work on this year, building up our financial resources to pay for running the party, but to pay for election campaigns and things like that. On the thing about membership, you said about talking to the people that you work with and things like that. How about talking to your partner? How about talking to your adult kids if you've got them, your mum, your dad, your brothers, your sisters? Persuade them to join. You know? How many people are members of
absolutely.
The 1,204 people we've got that are members? How many of them have got their partner as a member as well? There are some. I have, you have. I can probably name half a dozen people off the top of my head who I know their part. You know, when they join, they immediately sign up their partners as well. Right? How many people have got people from work? You know,
I think to me the important thing is that, you know, if there's a project that you believe in,
yeah,
you know, whether it be, you know, animal welfare, whether it be climate change, whether it be, I don't know, any one of 1,000 things, I guess, that people might want to support, you know, then, you know, I can't think, seriously, of anything more important to support than fostering an organisation that is designed to ensure that children are safe, that where possible they can remain with their biological family. I can't think of anything whereby it is vital that a party is there to represent the issues that relate to children in particular, whether that be around the child protection type issues, kids being harmed, kids being in homes where there's violence and abuse, where there's alcohol and drug use, where there's homelessness, you know. So we're there to focus on all those things that are important to kids in general. Now that doesn't necessarily mean, Avery, that it has to be about your kids or you know, even your neighbour's kids. It could be just because it is a substantive issue that I believe most people, if asked, would support. You know, and the question for me is, you know, are we asking enough people? Are we telling enough people about who we are and what we do? And I mean, perhaps the problem is that we're not selling that idea well enough either, but we need other people to understand what our ideas are and then to support in the setting of them.
You and I aren't doing as good a job as we could do of promoting the party, selling it, putting our ideas out there.
Yep.
But it's not just us. We need the people who are members of the party already, the people that follow us on Facebook, to do the same thing. You know, when we put a story up on Facebook, people can help us by sharing that story around. Tell everybody all about it. If they want to help us financially, they can go to YouTube and subscribe. And once we hit, I think it's 1,000 members, we can then start looking at monetizing it. If we can get 10,000 followers on Facebook, which we would need about another 2,200 followers on Facebook, we could look at monetizing our Facebook feeds. That wouldn't cost the people anything.
And I've just put up the subscribe and ring the button because I know it's going to YouTube at the moment.
Yeah.
I've just checked on that. So if anyone on YouTube is watching this, please not only subscribe, ring the bell for future notifications, but also let your friends know. Share on your Facebook page this particular post.
Yeah, absolutely. Quick, we had a question from Karen Backsky. I can never remember. Backsky. She says, how do we pay for our membership, please? The answer is, if you're an existing member, just let me know and I will send you a PayPal invoice. If you are not a member yet and you join, you can pay by credit card, PayPal. You can send us a check. You can send us you can directly deposit into our bank account. You can send us a money order. All the details are on the.
We would drop the money in an envelope and put it in our letterbox.
Yeah.
I mean, there's, however you wish to do that. And Karen, thanks for asking that question. But any support that people can offer is appreciated. And I think the year before last, when we ran an actual election campaign, we had a number of people that just came out of the blue who offered us substantial amounts of money.
Yeah. We were running the election here in SA.
Yeah.
And with a candidate here in the federal election in 2019, we had a guy in Melbourne. He donated a significant sum, 4 figures.
Yeah. I think the point is that we're not asking for 4 figures. As Avery has said, if someone just donated a small portion, that would be significant enough for us. So that's number one objective. Avery, do you have a second one? I think
we have been talking about it when we were saying about paying a membership fee.
Yeah.
Right. People, we need money to do the things that we need to do. You and I are basically paying the bulk of it. I think we've had about our income now, annual income because of membership, is around about $600 a year. Right, $600 wouldn't cover the costs of the how to vote cards for an election. It wouldn't come close to covering it. We spent in the state election, something like $18,000, most of which came from your pocket and Nadia's pocket. A lot less from mine, and maybe a couple of $100 out of the 18,000 came from members of the public, members of the party who donated some money to us. Yeah. So we've got to do things to raise money. We need people. Go on. Yeah, go on. I was going to say we need people who will stick their hands up and volunteer to help us run fundraisers.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
We need people to stick up their hands and say, I've got an idea how you can raise funds, and then tell us about it.
So one of the interesting things is, as most of you have just realised, that this isn't a conversation about child protection in particular and kids in general. This is a conversation about running a political party when we're confronted with all the other major and minor parties in Australia. And this challenge is particularly great for us. So, look, I appreciate if some of you think this is bloody boring because we're not discussing stuff that is really super emotive. But this is like critical. Like, if, I keep saying this, Avery, that if we want to change a system, we have to, regretfully, as much as I hate this, we often have to become part of that system. In order to change the way social workers work, the way that there is such a lack of transparency within child protection, in order to change aspects of the education system, in order to ensure that kids are not homeless, ensure that kids are not having to confront domestic violence and drug and alcohol abuse and all the other things that kids have to suffer through, to ensure that those kids have a voice and they're heard. This is why we exist. Yeah. No other reason. Yeah.
One of the things as well, the party, it's not just about child protection, about kids being taken away and getting them reunited. It's about making sure that they have the best education they can get. They do live on a planet where the climate is not going to kill them, where decisions are made by that when the government is discussing an act, a bill, that they say to them, they say, how will this affect our children in the future? Instead of what can I do to ensure that I get elected in 2 years' time? What's the impact going to be in 10 years, in 20 years?
Yeah, that's all true.
Yeah,
and I think, whoops, I think one of the other things too, Avery, is that what we need to. I keep punching the wrong bloody button. One of the things that that we need to focus on too are other elements around child. Kids' mental health, for example. Now, to me, the number of kids that suffer from some mental well-being issue as a result of the environment in which they have to live is catastrophic. The number of kids that may live in good homes but are being bullied at school because they either appear to be intellectually challenged, or they're overweight, or they're underweight, or because of the way they look, or they might have some facial features that people don't like for some particular reason. These are the issues that where kids are ignored, right? And the reason why they're ignored is because we as parents not parents, sorry, I'll reframe that. We as adults are not aware enough of the struggles that some of these kids have to go through, and that because they're struggling with this stuff, they don't have the voice to be able to talk about how those issues are impacting them. And then on top of that, so I could go on for hours about this, because on top of that, we've got Indigenous kids as well, Avery. And the fact that, they're being removed at 4 times the rate of other kids, and they're only, 2% of the population. So, these are primary concerns that we all have. Now, if there's anybody out there who wishes to do something about these problems, then it is through the Child Protection Party that these problems will be addressed.
Yeah.
As sure as I sit here, sure as Avery's present, and as long as Avery's present, hopefully it'll be for a long while, these issues will be addressed. But for us to address them, we need you to support us to make it happen.
Yeah.
Because we could do live, and I've thought about this. We could do live feeds, Avery, forever and a day. And we could come online and we could talk, and I could become passionate and you become passionate about this cause. And if people sit back and do bugger all, frankly, nothing's going to ever happen.
Yeah. At the moment, in a lot of ways, you and me are just shouting into the wind.
Well, I'm shouting into a microphone.
Oh, well, okay.
But
it's windy in this room. You and me are making a lot of noise. And there are people that say, we support you, but we need them to be more active in that support.
Yeah, it's not. Look, and I agree.
Which isn't necessarily which isn't necessarily coming on to, being on a committee or anything like that. It's just doing something as simple as seeing that story on Facebook and sharing it, talking to your family and encouraging them to join. Occasionally maybe dipping into your pocket and sending us $5.
Yep.
Things like that. And I was just saying, talking about money.
Yep.
I mentioned it'd be good to have ideas from people on here, and we've had where is it? Deb Stevens says T-shirts with "Keep Our Children Safe" printed on them. Well, I can order T-shirts with whatever text you want on them at all. Right, so if you want a T-shirt,
T-shirts. Hey, look, how about someone making that suggestion, getting all their friends together, ordering a stack of T-shirts, and and there'll be $2 or $3 we could make as a party. We're happy to order them. We can do all that stuff.
Yeah, and with a thing like that, with a company that I generally deal with, I could get them discounted if we were ordering, I think, 5 or more. So that was Deb that suggested that T-shirt. If you can dig up 5 or 6 people 10 people that will buy a T-shirt like that, let me know. Tell me what text you want on it, and I can arrange.
And hopefully their sizes.
Yeah, and their sizes, and lots of different colours you can have as well.
Mm. Mm.
Somebody suggested that we should have stickers for the backs of to put on the cars. We can get those.
Yep.
Nicole Rose, I'm not sure the pronunciation, suggested a walkathon. In my case, it would have to be a walker-a-thon. I can't walk too well nowadays.
Yep.
Deb suggested a GoFundMe. Got to tell you, Deb, we've done several of those, 2 or 3 of those, and we've raised a huge amount of money, about $150, I think we managed. It could have been the wording that we used.
Yeah,
it could
often
could be that people say, "Oh, it's a political party." No, thank you.
Yep. And so I think the problem too is, Avery, that there's one thing I wanted to say before, and I'll say it now, is that I believe that.
Oh, sorry, I've got to stop you. Yes, please, Deb.
Yeah,
Deb, I own a photography center business. Wondering how I can use this to help. I can put an ad in our magazine. Yes, please, Deb. That would be much appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. Any of those sorts of ideas. I've got phone calls going off all over the place here as well. The other thing too is, Avery, is that we could, if you sit, hold on, I'll reframe all this, because I thought of this earlier when you were talking, and that at the end of the day, if you choose to do nothing, right? If you want to sit there and comment and make comments on our Facebook page or on our discussions such as this and on YouTube, that's fine, and I think that's appropriate. And I hope more and more people do it. I really do. But if that's all you're doing, right, and you want things to move forward, you really have to ask. People have to ask the question: what am I doing constructively that's going to help the CPP get to a point where they have representatives in Parliament, so that I can contact them in Parliament and say, what are you doing about this particular case? Like if we're in Parliament and we could contact the minister directly, speak to the minister in, for example, Avery, the kids that have become pregnant, 13-year-olds become pregnant. If we're in Parliament, wow, would we ever give, not only the opposition, but we as the political party would be looked to for answers to those particular problems, right? But as a minor party sitting out here without any representation, we're simply just, as you said, we're a voice in the wind.
Yeah.
But we need to become more significant than that, right?
Yeah.
And the only way it happens is by people getting off their asses and contributing to us in meaningful ways, not just money, but that's part of it, but contributing us in meaningful ways, so that at the end of the day, we can bring about significant change, so that we'd have, I could guarantee you, before Rachel Sanderson, this is an interesting story, before Rachel Sanderson became minister and she was opposition leader, she met with a number of people who are the people that we deal with, that are people that are interested in CPP. So I know this because they've told me. And she said, when I get in Parliament, I will, when I become the minister, I will listen to you and I will hear what you have to say. And none of those people hear back from her. And even though she's made inquiries to get some, even though they've made inquiries to find out, can I meet up with you? Of course she doesn't. But us as a minor party with people representing all these members, we will have the voice. We may not have a position of power and authority in terms of being a minister, but we are in the place where the questions can be asked, the ideas can be presented, where committees and can be formed in order to get the answers to the issues that we believe are not very often lost in the lack of transparency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember she was Rachel Sanderson was saying that she was going to do this, going to do that, and going to do the next thing, and then changed her mind as soon as she got into power.
Well, interestingly enough, not even, not even the people below her, like the chief executive, tell her what's going on. So it's no wonder Rachel doesn't know what's going on anyway, because apparently no one talks to her. So, but we need to have that voice. This is, I can't believe. I can't believe. But this is why I am so passionate, and why so many people that are part of CPP on our committees and stuff are passionate, because we believe that change will only occur through legislative change, through having a voice, through advocating, arguing, sometimes yelling and shouting at people in order to get them to understand a child's perspective, a parent's perspective, and to make sure that there are systems. Look, we need more funding for adolescent mental health. I don't know of anybody in Parliament at the moment who's screaming out for that.
No.
We need more homelessness services.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that kids who are leaving and running away from homes when they're 13 or 14 have places to go. We need more DV services to help parents who are escaping violent partners. To have places to go. We need less kids being removed from families where there's violence. Just because in the past there was violence doesn't mean there will be in the future. But we need to be able to find places for these parents and their kids to go.
Yeah.
But we don't, because as a society, frankly, we don't give a rat's ass.
Well, the politicians that are in either state or federal parliaments, all they are thinking about is what's going to happen in 3 years' time or 4 years' time, depending upon whether it's federal or state. Will I win the next election? I'm going to do whatever I can to ensure I do that. And as I said earlier on, they don't think about anything long term. They don't listen to, they don't consider the impact of legislation on children. They just do what they need to do to get themselves re-elected. They're more interested in the power than they are in making positive change.
Yes, spot on. So, and we're,
I'm old and cynical.
Yeah. Did you say we're old and cynical?
No, I said I am. I'm not speaking for you.
Oh, thanks. I'm the same. And I think the funny thing is, Avery, this is very personal, everybody. But as you get older, sometimes you kind of think, you're running. Are you running out of time?
Yeah.
And I think, bugger, if I'd been doing this stuff when I was 25, 26, maybe things would be different. But the reality is, I'm not. We are who we are. We're the age we are, and we have to keep fighting. I don't give. I don't. As you well know, I don't like the R word. The retirement word.
Oh no.
No. I hate that. I just think, shit. If I want to die.
Stay doing what you're doing, because you won't be as busy as you are when you retire, as you will be when you retire.
That's it. As you will know.
As I found out, yeah.
You've never been busier than you are right now. But so the point is that we need to find a way to look. We've tried to motivate people today, Avery, to get involved.
Yeah.
Physically, emotionally, psychologically, financially. We've tried to do the best we can.
Yeah.
If you care about these issues, get involved. If you don't care, good. We don't want to hear from you. Go and vote for somebody else, or go and settle in some other party that does bugger all. But here we're trying to do something that's important, and it is about kids.
Yeah, we've in responses that we've had have been on the comments. We've had a bunch of ideas about things that we could possibly do for fundraising. Some about how we can promote it, such as getting flyers to put through letterboxes. That boils down to going back to the fundraising. We need the money.
Back to money again.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it all revolves around how much money we've got in our bank. I quite agree with Deb there. Our children are our future. She's right on the button there. Deb has offered to put an article in her company's magazine, and asked me to write the article and send it to her along with the logo and provide links, and she'll put it all in her magazine.
Right.
And also share it on her Facebook page. Thank you, Deb.
And we can do that.
Certainly will. There was others I saw in there just a minute ago. Yeah, and Nicole said about doing flyers and putting them in the letterboxes. As I said, the problem there is cost. Sausage sizzles have been suggested.
And we've tried and failed miserably. But I think that doesn't mean we're not putting down these ideas because none of them are going to work. That's not true. But what we do want to do is have substantive ideas. If you've got an idea that's going to help to raise money in your community, then just have a chat to us and go off and do it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to run it under CPP banner, we need to know that you're doing it.
Yeah.
And we need to make sure that the money is accounted for and that it's placed into an account and all that sort of stuff. We've got to do all that. Legally, we have to do all that.
Yeah.
So, but whatever idea you've got, we would probably support it.
Yeah.
We'd advertise it, promote it, do the Facebook thing, whatever, and get it done. So let us know.
Another thing there from Nicole. She'd be happy to print some flyers and put them around in her country town. I will design a flyer and send it to you, Nicole. What about the old chocolate Cadbury fun run? Yeah. Deb Stevens has also said she'd be happy to do flyers at her own cost too. I'll send the design to both of them. Thank you, Deb.
And if any of you people would like to be involved in the fundraising committee, please.
Please.
We'd love to have you on board.
Those people there with those ideas, brilliant. Come on board. You don't need to take part every meeting, or don't need to do anything like as much as me and Tony do. But those ideas, organising volunteers for things like that. That's another problem we have when we've tried to do a fundraiser, is getting people to actually turn up. When we did the sausage sizzles at Bunnings, getting people to turn up and actually do the job.
Yeah, I think we'll end up doing it
very difficult
with somebody else. But okay, so
I mean, even I didn't turn up for that one, but I had a good reason.
You did.
Yeah, I was sick.
I think the issue here is that. And we'll just recap on this and then go. But really, it's about, if you're keen, if you believe the issue is significant enough, then you'll contribute. And I guess the degree to which the degree to which you're passionate about it will depend upon your degree of commitment. The greater that you're passionate, the more committed people tend to be, I think. So I guess you can be the judge as to whether or not you're committed. In the way that you believe you could be committed. And sometimes people feel committed, but they have other restrictions that might prevent them from being further committed. So I understand all of that as well. But look, all we can say, folks, is get involved with us. We are a fabulous group. We've got a really good interstate team as well.
Yeah.
So it's not just Avery and I. There are other people in other states who run other states. And if you do join us and the committee, you'll get to meet those people over time as well. But there's still places on the committee for people from each state, and there's certainly the states themselves need people to work with them.
And if I can quickly say as well, if we can build a small team in each state and territory, then we'll be able to do things like fundraise just for that state. We'd be able to have people that would design things, Facebook posts or whatever, specifically for that state. Flyers specifically for Western Australia or Queensland.
And one of the things we need, Avery, is we need some people with some social networking skills, for example.
Yeah. So we have been looking for somebody who who knows social media, who isn't controversial like I am, who doesn't get put on restrictions by Facebook because they didn't like something I said, even though they then went and acknowledged that what I said was fair enough. If there's somebody out there who has got social media skills, Facebook particularly, and you want to join us to sort of oversee what we do, contact me. Send me a PM, send me an email, and we'll we'll talk about it. You tell us what you can do. Look at our Facebook page and our website and tell us what you do to improve it.
Yep. So we help us, and we'll
Help us. Help us to help you.
Okay, everybody. Look, thanks, Avery. Again, lovely catching up with you.
Oh.
I'm looking forward to this year. It's going to be a ripper. We're going to do things differently. People will be hearing from us more and more, which may be a good or a bad thing. And we'll be posting, I think, a lot to our YouTube page as well, and then on posting that on. And Avery and I have got a couple of other Facebook projects. Oh, sorry, YouTube for projects, or a YouTube project, which we are also enjoying. So we're involved as best as we can, but we need you to be involved as well. So thanks, Avery. Thanks, everybody. Take care, and we'll hope to catch up with you in the next maybe few days.
Yeah.
See you then, everybody. Bye.
Bye.